All right. Aloha and good morning. My name is Naiva Flory. I'm a part of the Million Mom Movement Council. Thank you so much for joining me today as part of our community action with the Million Mom Movement. I am so happy to have each and every one of you here. You're all part of this movement, and we can't move this movement forward without you. So if you would like to read the pledge, please go ahead and raise your hand, and I'll call on you in just a quick minute. But today's topic is elevate your life, nourish your body. And we're going to be talking about this over the next few weeks and diving deeper and deeper into this topic. So proper nutrition is the cornerstone of health, vitality, and well-being. Our bodies are incredibly complex systems that require a wide array of nutrients to function optimally, from the macronutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats to essential vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients found in whole foods. Every bite we take influences our energy levels, mental clarity, and overall health. So poor nutrition, on the other hand, can lead to a host of issues: fatigue, mood swings, poor immune function, and even chronic diseases. It's easy to get caught up in the convenience of fast food or processed meals, but the truth is these foods often lack the essential nutrients our bodies need. They may fill us up on the short term, but they don't nourish us on a cellular level. When you start to make a nutrition a priority, something amazing happens. Your body begins to function more efficiently, you have more energy, your mind feels sharper, and you start to feel more in tune with your body. This is the first step in a lifestyle transformation. Nourishing your body with the right food set the stage for all the other changes you want to make. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there and see who would like to read our pledge before we go ahead and move forward. I see Kelly's hands up, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the pledge up for you. Give me just a quick second. The floor is yours.
Okay, pledge. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on what this movement means to you?
This means a lot to me, coming from both of my parents had cancer. And so I am committed to sharing of alternative methods of healing and sharing about how our food is the foundation of our health. So thank you for letting me share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for reading the pledge. I always love to hear people from our community here on this call. That's what this call is all about. The Million Mom Movement is really the movement of many. We've changed the acronym, the MOM, into an acronym, movement of many, because we want to be inclusive of our entire community, whether, mom, dad, caregiver, whoever you are. We all have that mothering nature inside of us where we want to take care of other people that we love. And so I welcome you and thank you for being a part of the Million Mom Movement and helping us to keep moving this movement forward, because that's what it's all about. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in with an in the news piece, because I think it's really important to dive into what is the problem right now. We know that we're inundated with unhealthy foods. Everything, the fast-paced lifestyle is crazy, and we're having to choose between affording the healthy options or just going ahead and eating the unhealthy options and not feeling good at the end of the day. And it's really a sad reality, especially here in the United States. So why is the US so unhealthy? Why is the US only the 35th healthiest country in the world? 35th, you guys, that's pretty far up the list. Can our federal or state government do anything about it? According to a 2019 Bloomberg Healthiest Country Index, the US ranks 35th out of 169 countries. Even though we are the 11th wealthiest country in the world, we are behind pretty much all developed economies in terms of health. In the Americas, not just Canada being the 16th, but also Cuba being the 30th, Chile and Costa Rica tied at 33, rank ahead of us in the Bloomberg study. To answer this layered question, we need to look at the top ranked countries in Bloomberg Index from first to 12th. They are Spain, Italy, Iceland, Japan, Switzerland, Sweden, Australia, Singapore, Norway, Israel, Luxembourg, and France. What are they doing right that the US isn't? In a nutshell, they embrace half a dozen critical economic, governmental, and social traits that are absent in the US. So some of those are universal health care, better diet, fresh ingredients, and less packaged and processed foods, strict regulations limiting opioid prescriptions, lower levels of economic inequality, severe and effective gun control laws, increased attention when driving. And when it comes to access to healthcare, the 34 countries that are ahead of the US in the Bloomberg Health rankings all offer universal health care to their people. This means that preventative, primary, and acute care is available to 100% of their population. In contrast to 25 to 30 million Americans do not have health care insurance, and an equal number of underinsured. For 15 to 18% of our population, financial concerns about how to pay for a visit to the doctor, how to meet high insurance deductibles, or cash payments after insurance take precedence over taking care of their health. Lack of preventative care leads to visits to the emergency room for ailments that could have been prevented through regular primary care follow-ups, a high cost to our health system. So let's note, we spent 10,700 per capita in healthcare in 2017, more than 3 times as much as Spain, 3,200, and Italy, 3,400. So many Americans postpone important medical operations for years until they reach 65 years of age when they finally qualify for universal health care or Medicare. Lack of prevention and primary care health interventions postponed, and a constant worry that medical costs might bankrupt one's family. None of this is conducive to healthy lives. So the reason I wanted to bring this to our attention is because we have multiple ways that we can solve this problem, this issue that we are facing here in America, with so many people not being able to afford healthcare, or, not even wanting to go that route with getting on medications. And I've heard so many stories here about people that have gone to the doctor and the doctors had no answers for them, and they put them on medications that didn't work, and then they had to go down the hamster wheel of being a guinea pig and trying so many different things and not finding a solution. And then Purium coming into their life and just miraculously being able to feed their cells on a cellular level, really transform their life and their health. And then let's face it, the other side of the coin is we have this amazing business opportunity that can also help us to alleviate some of that financial stress and some of the stresses that come with not being able to afford for healthcare or the things that we need, or even the organic food. I've had several conversations this week about organic food and how expensive it is, and why is Purium the only solution? And it's hard, but it is becoming a reality that Purium is the purest, most trustworthy brand that we have out here, and a lot of people don't even know about it yet. So with life expectancy declining in America during the last 2 years, a very undesirable type of exceptionalism, it is high noon for the US public. So it's really time for us to embrace a healthier lifestyle. We have to encourage more people. A lot of people don't even know what we have, right? Who has not heard of the fabled Mediterranean diet, right? I know that I really love Mediterranean food. There's lots of fresh herbs and spices in there. It's very flavorful. Um, and so anyways, who has not heard of the fabled Mediterranean diet? Rich in seafoods, vegetables, olive oil, nuts, and little to no room for packed or processed foods. It leads to lower rates of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Healthy dietary habits help propel Spain and Italy to the top of the Bloomberg health rate rankings, but they are not the only nations to eat well among the 12 listed in the study. Israel is also a Mediterranean country, and its inhabitants' culinary habits have a lot in common with those of the countries bordering the Roman Mare Nostrum. They all share an abundance of high fiber and low fat foods with plenty of vegetables, fruits, organic produce, and oily fish. So good for weight control. So then there's Japan, fourth on the Bloomberg study, which can boast of legendary and centuries old food traditions, emphasizing balance, variety, and freshness of ingredients. One very tangible result of all of these culinary traditions is a much lower rate of obesity than in America. Obesity leads to a number of potential causes of premature death, such as heart diseases, the leading cause of death in the US, diabetes, and kidney ailments. It is unfortunately a well-known fact that adult obesity in the US exceeds that of most countries in the world, you guys, including all of those ahead of us in the Bloomberg Health rankings. About 40% of adults in the USA are obese, with a body mass index, a measure of a person's weight relative to her or his height, above 30. So in Spain, only 25% of adults have a BMI above 30. That percentage is 20 in Italy and a remarkable 5 in Japan. The causes of obesity in America are well known: a poor diet with too much consumption of packaged and processed food, which is not as well regulated as it ought to be, too many fast food meals, and low levels of exercise due to excess driving caused by an urban sprawl absent in Europe and Japan. Bad diets are also a symptom of growing economic inequality in the US, and fresh, natural, and organic produce are high priced relative to packaged and processed alimentation. As a result, bad nutrition affects disproportionately those at the bottom of our socioeconomic pyramid with very negative health consequences. So let's now look at the health crisis that appears to afflict our country more than overdeveloped economies. The first one comes to mind as an opioid epidemic, now officially a national emergency. The US accounts for 4% of the world's population, but 20% of the world's drug overdose fatalities, with 47,000 people dead from overdose in 2017. Why? Americans use more opioids than any other developed country. According to the United Nations International Narcotics Control Board, daily opioid use is twice as high as in the US as in Germany, the largest European economy. The difference is higher still with the nations ranked at the top of the Bloomberg Index. Italy, Spain, Iceland, Japan, Sweden, Norway, Israel, and France consume between 10 to 20% of opioids per capita relative to the US. One of the main reasons is that the physicians in the US are much more willing to prescribe opioids to their patients. In particular, American doctors routinely prescribe insurance reimbursement opioids for chronic pain. You guys, chronic pain is something that so many people deal with. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share there. I will share this article in Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook. You can go ahead and read the whole thing, share information from it if you find it interesting. But you know what? There's so many people that are just barely making it right now. And we've been prescribed so many drugs and so many things. And like I said earlier, a lot of these are actually contraindicating each other. And it's causing all kinds of health issues. We just read, it's cheaper to eat cheap packaged food than it is to go out there and get the organic, fresh vegetables. And so this is a real crisis, and we have a solution for this. We have a way to go out there and help these people. There's a statistic, I didn't pull it up today, but I think it's 90% of Americans don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, and only 1% of those 90 actually eat organic fruits and vegetables. So if you think about that statistic and how many people are in our country, we have so much work to do. We have so many people to help get healthier because the crisis is real. And so the conversation I had yesterday with a friend, sharing with me that she felt that I share a lot about the issues with our food and what ingredients to look for and what ingredients to avoid, and not so much what to look for, right? Like, what can I eat? She said, all you say is to eat organic food or to eat purium. Which at this point in time, that's really in the way that we're leading, right? It's if it's not regeneratively farmed, if it's not glyphosate free, if it's not organic, then it has chemicals on it and it's grown in soil that has been deplenished of its minerals, and it's no longer really fueling your body, right? You can eat, like, let's talk about, I think Dave talks about the conventional carrots, right? You can eat a carrot nowadays and it has no flavor in it. It's bland, it's not even the bright orange that it used to be. And then you have our carrot juice plus that is so bright orange, and having one glass of that is equivalent to like 200 organic carrots or something wild. And so you'd have to eat a lot of those conventional carrots to even come close to the nutrients that is in, for instance, our carrot juice plus. And so there's so many different solutions that we can provide for people that are looking for something better, just a better way of life, a better way of health, and a way to really take care of ourselves on a cellular level. Because let's face it, every single day when we leave the house, we're inundated by, these flashy signs for fast food. And then we go into a grocery store and there's all these fancy packages that are very tasteful. And some of even do some great greenwashing on their behalf to try to make it look healthy and tell us that it's heart healthy or low cholesterol or sugar free, or all these like taglines that really at the end of the day don't mean anything. And so we're so overwhelmed with the amount of crazy ingredients that we have to look out for that it makes it really hard for each and every one of us out there to go and read the labels. But it's really important that we educate each other and we share what we know. And most of all, thank goodness that we have Biomedic, because Biomedic really helps us to rest assured that when we are having to choose something that might not be at the top of our priority list, right? Like if we end up choosing the apple that's not organic, or eating at a barbecue or coffee shop that we don't know where the ingredients come from, we do have a way to help our gut. And so our gut is really the most important thing. Detoxing our gut and taking care of our gut is really important. We often refer to our gut as our second brain. We have our brain up here in our head, and then we have our brain in our stomach is the one that tells us, our intuitions, our gut feelings come from there. So it's really important to take care of our gut so that we can continue to work optimally and function optimally in our bodies. And so with that, we talk a lot about glyphosate. And glyphosate is a chemical that is on most conventional foods and on all GMO foods. It's a chemical that was made to withstand, it's actually goes onto our food and it doesn't cook off or freeze off or anything like that, and it kills living organisms. And so it's actually created to be able to withstand the waterings and the things as they spray it on the soil, and it kills the weeds, and then it continues to keep the weeds at bay over time, even after watering. So think what it does to our body when we're eating that corn that has been sprayed with the glyphosate, or maybe it's the corn chips or the tortillas or the crackers, right? Corn is in almost everything. And if it doesn't have corn, then it has corn syrup. And so it's so crazy that we are so inundated with these chemicals, and it's so important that we do something about it. And so we are so fortunate here that we have Biomedic, and Biomedic is a proprietary blend that helps to remove glyphosate from our gut. So if ever we are eating out or going to a barbecue or eating somewhere where we can't have control over the organic ingredients, having Biomedic on hand is extremely important. And as Wendy says, we vote with our dollars every day. That's absolutely right. Every time we purchase something, we are telling that store that is something that we want to purchase and that we're voting with our dollar. And that goes a really long ways. When we choose to buy the things that are, when we choose to support a fast food industry, for example, then we are voting with our dollar that that's the kind of food that we want. When we're buying organic food or purchasing Purium, we're voting with our dollar that that's the type of quality that we stand by. And so it's really important. And sometimes we don't always have control over it. So of course, we have the solutions with Biomedic being so great. I keep it with me. I keep it in my purse. I keep one in my car, and I take it everywhere with me. I share it with my friends and family, especially when I eat out or go have a coffee at the coffee shop. I always just take a Biomedic. That way, I just know that my gut is detoxing anything that is coming in contact with it that I don't want to keep in my body. And I can rest assured that I can still enjoy that moment without stressing too much about it. Because let's face it, it's not fun to stress about food. There's already so many stressors involved with just choosing the ingredients that we're going to cook. Excuse me while I flip through all these pages. Um, so what comes at the beginning of our lifestyle transformation is really just making the choice that you want to make healthier choices for yourself, for your families, for your loved ones, whatever your reasons might be. And we have a little wellness guide that you all have access to. Again, I will share the link in our Million Mom Movement official. You can find it there after with this replay. But this wellness guide is really great because it can help you and it can help anybody that you are trying to support on their wellness journey to figure out what is the best way to get started. So in our ultimate lifestyle transformation, we have what we call the core products, which are the foundations of our nutrition. We've all seen that food pyramid where it has all the list of the different foods and categories that you need, right? So this is something similar. And our food pyramid is protein, fruits, vegetables, and gut health. So that is what is in our pyramid, and the most important one being the gut health, taking care of your gut, detoxing the chemicals so that you can absorb your nutrients better. Because once you start feeding yourself this protein, fruits, and vegetables from Purium, you're going to want to absorb those nutrients and you're going to feel it right away. It's going to feed your cells. So this is not only a great way to incorporate it into your daily life, but it's a great lifestyle to continue on. I have been using these superfoods for 10 years, and I am so grateful that these superfoods found me because I was actually really busy. I was skipping meals. I was living off of coffee. I was often not eating an actual meal till 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So go ahead and, drop me one in the comments if this is ever you. Have you lived off coffee until noon or skipped meals? Because I know I'm not the only one, right? Life is crazy busy. We get overwhelmed. We get sidetracked. We might even be going to get food out of the fridge and then realize that we have to wash the dishes first before we can make a meal. That's what happened to me as a mom of 6 children. When I first got introduced to Purium, I had 5 kids in 4 different schools and I had a new baby. So my morning routine was crazy, hectic, busy. I was stressed by 6:30 in the morning. I was drinking my 3rd cup of coffee by the time I took the kids to school. I wasn't eating anything until noon. It was not healthy for me to be living that type of lifestyle. So I got introduced to Purium and I was able to take my aminos first thing in the morning before I woke up the kids, just my aminos and a glass of water. So simple, but so effective, getting that high grade protein into my body. And then being able to have a power shake as I walked out the door to take the kids to school. It was so simple. And I was doing something for myself for the second time in the day by 8 a.m. And so this is something that has absolutely been a godsend. It's been so incredible to have this in my life. And as a side effect, my kids were watching me drink these superfoods, and after school, they'd be like, Mom, make me a shake, or they'd make themselves a shake, or sometimes they'd even make me my shake if I was on too many calls that afternoon. And so, this is such a beautiful thing to have in our household, to share with our family, to share with our relatives, to share with those that we love, because we all want to live a long, healthy life, right? We don't want to see anybody suffering from any type of disease out there for any time of their life. Like, let's make it the best quality life that we can have here. And so Optimal nutrition really supports our health. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next step. You can go ahead and read through all of this. I'm not going to read it all for you. But one of my favorite things as a part of this program is that if you decide to join us for a lifestyle transformation and you consistently purchase products, there's a whole list of products down here that if you order them for 3 months in a row, the fourth month you get it for free. So if there's certain things that you see yourself really enjoying or needing as part of your lifestyle, then these can actually, as we get closer into the holidays, you're going to get a free one in 3 or 4 months from now. And that one can either be for you, or hey, maybe you want to give it away for the holidays as a gift to somebody that you love. So I'm going to go ahead and go over this wellness guide and the way that you can really find what works best for you or for somebody that you're wanting to help on their lifestyle transformation. In this guide, you're going to find the things that most pertain to what your health goals are. So depending on what that is, you're going to find it. So say somebody's looking for gut health. Okay, I'm going to go over here to gut health and our healthy gut, right? We're all looking for a healthy gut. That's what I've been talking about today. So for a healthy gut, what I would recommend to somebody is Biomedic to help remove glyphosate. And then just so you guys know, if somebody is gluten intolerant or celiac and they don't feel like they can take Biomedic, you can actually use Aloe Digest in combination with ionic elements to get the same results as Biomedic. So that is an alternative to Biomedic that is really great. And of course, you can still take it while using Biomedic. You can also use Aloe Digest with ionic elements, and it will just enhance your gut health, but you can also use those as an alternative. So if you didn't know that, I'm happy to share that with you because I know it comes up a lot that, oh, I have somebody that isn't able to consume the Biomedic. What can I do instead? So right here, we actually have it within this graph that you can just, it doesn't say that, but the Aloe Digest and the ionic elements are in this graph, and that's part of why it's in the graph. And then, of course, the essential mushroom blends. They're so good for your gut. They're so good for helping with, so many things, boosting your immune system, your memory, reducing brain fog. The list goes on and on and on, all the benefits of the mushrooms that we have in our mushroom blends. So this is a way that you can look at this list, and all of these lists, what you'll find is that most of them have at least one ingredient that's in the core four or the ultimate lifestyle transformation. There are a few lists here that do not have a product that is in the ULT, but most of them are. So as you're sharing this with somebody might say, okay, well, I would like gut health, and I would also like to, you know, let's see, let's get healthy inflammatory response. I have a lot of inflammation, right? Most of us have a ton of inflammation in our body. And so, most of us are needing to reduce inflammation. So, healthy inflammatory response, what is it that we use for that? Again, Biomedic, right? So, that Biomedic is going to help them with healthy inflammatory and with the gut health. And then super xanthan is going to be an add-on. Pineal clear is going to be an add-on. And then there's the apothecary. So in this one, you actually have two products that are in the core four or the ultimate lifestyle transformation, which helps you to make that package for them and say, hey, you know what? Based on what we've been talking about and what you're wanting for your health, I would recommend the ultimate lifestyle transformation. And then let's add on the super xanthan and the pineal clear and the ionic elements in the mushroom blend and the aloe digest, right? So you can add on the additional items that are not already within one of those packages. So this list is extensive. We can have so much fun with it. And the best part is that people can also take their health in steps, right? Sometimes it's an affordability issue of like, hey, I want all of this on this list, but I can't afford everything right this minute. So the best way to get somebody started is with the lifestyle, the ultimate lifestyle transformation, and the 90-day subscription of just committing to doing that daily for the next 90 days, because we all know that it takes more than 21 days to make or break a habit. That is just the beginning of creating a new habit. Now, if you can stick with that habit for 90 days, that's when you're really going to set it in stone and create a new habit. And so an ultimate lifestyle transformation, and then look at that wellness guide and figure out what you can add on. Or if you need to start with the core four and add on some of those other items, then that can also help with the budget if budget is an issue, is to get the core four and then add on the additional items so that way you can still, keep a good price point for your clients as well. So, that's a little bit about what I wanted to share. I would love to open it up if anybody would like to share a story, your own health transformation story. If you can keep it to 2 or 3 minutes, that would be lovely. But I'd love to hear from some of you what Purium has done for you. I shared that I've been using these superfoods for over 10 years. It's been, such an amazing blessing to my life to have something so convenient, so nutritious at my fingertips, something that I can grab and use and provide health for myself first, and then of course for my family and my children and grandchildren, and have something so effective and easy to grab. So I'd love to invite you to come and share your story. Hi, Christian Love. Thanks for coming on and raising your hand.
Hi there, Nevia. It was so great to meet you at a convention briefly at the cafe, but thank you for having these calls. They're always so inspiring, especially going into the weekend where there's birthday parties with the kids and outings and indoor playgrounds. It kind of helps me set the tone of like, we're going to pack our snacks and our lunch. So I was introduced to Purium officially in 2021. And before that, someone had mentioned it to me over Instagram. And I thought I was a know-it-all because I'd already been in the wellness industry for so long. And I said, no, I don't need anything. I'm good. I juice, I fast, I eat everything organic. I practice yoga. I don't need more. And the truth is, I didn't realize what I didn't, you don't know what you don't know. So about a year and a half later, someone else reached out to me and I don't know if it was the wording or something, but it all started to make more sense to me. And I said, you know what, I will take a look because I feel so depleted, even though I'm already juicing, even though I already feel healthy. And motherhood really changed my body and my time. So I didn't have the energy or the time to juice all the time the way I was before. It was more challenging. I, like you, I would start my day with coffee, even though I knew it wasn't the best thing, but I would add cacao to it, trying to make myself feel better about it. And I would usually eat later in the day and I would snack a lot, but I still felt like I wasn't getting enough nutrition. Like I was always tired and my hair was falling out. And I just didn't feel my best self. So I said, you know what? It probably is time for a reset in my gut because I hadn't done a cleanse in about 5 years because of motherhood and breastfeeding. So I said yes. And within the first 4 days, my energy was just the way I was used to before motherhood. I was sleeping better, not so much more, but it was like I was actually getting rest, like my brain was actually shutting down. I was waking up focused and clear and not feeling like I needed coffee anymore. I wasn't feeling that dip in the middle of the afternoon that I was normally feeling before. I felt satiated. I wasn't looking for snacks all day or finishing my daughter's leftovers. And it was like my face was brighter and I just felt better overall. Like it just all started to make more sense. And especially the fogginess in the mind. And the biggest thing too is, as moms, we want to have a good relationship with our kids, but when we are lethargic or cranky or just malnourished, it's easier to snap at them. It's easier to be irritable. It's easier to not be fully present with them. And that was one thing I noticed within like the first 2 weeks. It was like I was more present for my daughter. I was more patient. Everything like slowed down. And that to me is priceless because my daughter's 7 now and we have a great relationship and she loves the smoothies and we put the green shake in the pancakes and she's now coming up with her own recipe. She wants to have her own YouTube channel to share it with kids. And she tells her friends, you need to have a green shake. You need to have a green smoothie. And I'm just really grateful that I finally said yes and that this came into my life. So thank you for hosting this and thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. It was so nice to meet you as well. And, this is really the ripple effect that we're able to make. I love your story because it's really similar to mine in the aspects of like, we already thought we were healthy, we were already doing the things, but then life changed, right? Circumstances change when we have children, life gets busy, when we change jobs. And then, it's so great to have the solution at our fingertips that we can use for ourselves and really feel that difference too in our bodies. And that's the gift that we can give to others, right? So I really love your story and where you're coming from. And, share that story because the best tool that we have in this community is our stories. That's what we can go out there and share with people and inspire them for what's possible. So thank you so much for sharing your story here today. Let's see. So, Dominique, you're next. Let me unmute you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. So, yeah, I have been eating pure superfoods for the past 4 years. Originally, before I started, I live in Miami, Florida now, but I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, and I had a family history of Alzheimer's and cancer. And so when I moved to Miami, I decided to go vegan and I had every intention to eat clean, but I actually started working in a restaurant. And because of my schedule, it was so hectic. I was working like 40, 50 hours a week on my feet as a hostess. And I didn't really nourish myself in the way that I needed to, not only with food, but also just emotionally and spiritually. And I leaned a lot on processed foods. I would eat a lot of the vegan chicken patties that were frozen. I would just throw them in the microwave before I went to work. I lived on the purple bag of Doritos that are like the vegan ones. And I ate a lot of ice cream, and it was dairy free, but it was full of sugar. And it was really just to mask the emotions that I felt about being away from home and working in a job that I didn't like. I didn't feel valued, and I didn't really feel like I had a purpose. And I ended up getting diagnosed with a very severe urinary tract infection that almost spread to my kidneys. And not only did it take me out of work for about a week, but I realized just being in this community now that I wasn't supporting my adrenals. I was extremely stressed. I wasn't resting, and I allowed just my gut health was so off balance that I allowed a lot of just bacteria and pathogens to kind of move through my body. And so my sister, a few months later, about 3 or 4 months later, my sister was like, we need to do something to repair our gut. She had started doing a lot of research, and she found the ultimate lifestyle transformation. It was like, I think this would be perfect for us to just hit the reset button. And I didn't know anything about wheatgrass or none of the ingredients that are in the power shake and the transformation, but I trusted her. And so we did the transformation together. And in my first week, my bloating disappeared. I had so much energy. I used to take a nap before work, and I would try to take like an hour nap. And then as the weeks went by, I started taking 2 hour naps and 3 hour naps. And I just felt like I needed to just not only rest my body for hours, but I just didn't want to get up and go into work. I hated it so much. So it felt better to just be in my bed asleep. And when I started the transformation, I didn't need a nap anymore. I was like, this is so weird. I have energy midday. I started sleeping so much better and deeper that I would wake up and I was actually excited about my day. I would wake up smiling, and it just completely shifted my physical health, but my emotional health and my connection to myself. And I automatically just thought that there's so many people, not only in the restaurant that I work at, but just in the world that don't feel happy, that don't feel like they have a purpose. And to have something like this as a resource to just introduce them to and just to slowly add into their lifestyle can transform their energy, and then that has a ripple effect on the people around them. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity and just being able to empower other families that don't know about this and don't know that there's a simple addition that they can add in to protect themselves from lifestyle disease. So thank you so much for letting me share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. It's so important. Like I said to Christian, our stories are so powerful. And the best way to inspire others is to share those stories. And so I really appreciate you sharing because I feel like so many people are living in that grind of like working so hard and being exhausted at the end of the day and just choosing whatever is easy to grab because that is what is convenient. And even though, choosing a vegan lifestyle lifestyle is so important and, so great for the planet and for our health. It's not always easy. A lot of the vegan foods out there are ultra processed vegan foods. And so it can be an unhealthy lifestyle if you don't know how to be a healthy vegan or prepare a lot of your own foods. And so kudos to you for, really trying to make that lifestyle change, first of all, for your health. And then, realizing that, you need to do something more. And thank goodness your sister introduced you to Purium and brought you along on this journey, because without, grabbing your hand and pulling you along and introducing you to this, you could still be on that hamster wheel of just trying to fuel yourself and get to work and be exhausted all the time. And so many people are living like that on a day-to-day basis. And so I appreciate your story. Thank you so much for sharing it. And thanks for being a part of our community. All right, Ashley, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you. Welcome. So happy to have you here.
Happy to be here. Excuse me, happy to be here. So my story is actually a whole family affair. We began together, my husband, myself, and our whole reason for doing it was for our son, who at the time was 2. So he had flare-ups of eczema all over his body, and it was just getting increasingly worse. So we turned to gut health. And well, we turned to a bunch of things first that did not work. And then we realized gut health was what needed to happen. So we began this program together, and I will say that it only took about 2 weeks for us to realize that our whole lives had changed completely. So what we had been dealing with was my husband would wake up every single night. Yeah, green. Every single night, he would wake up and be, she was completely quiet a second ago. She would wake up, my husband would wake up every single night throwing up with his acid flare-ups. And then my son had those patches of skin that he would scratch until he bled. And then myself, I had complex PTSD, extreme dissociative disorder, and then postpartum ×3 because my babies are so close together. So it was a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and we had about 7 to 10 panic attacks a week that I would have to be pulled out of. So that was where our family was. In about 2 weeks, my husband stopped reaching for his antacids. My doctor actually had a Zoom session with me and told me, I can see a difference. We're going to have to start backing you off of your medication. And in about 6 weeks, I was completely off my medication and hadn't had an anxiety or panic attack, and still haven't since. I'm getting a little emotional about that one. And then, of course, my son, that was the huge one for us. We knew we were on the right path because within a couple of days, his skin was starting to clear up. And now it's been almost 4 years, and all of his scarring that he used to have is completely gone. You can't even find where those patches used to be. So it's just been obviously something we are never going to stop. And we are so happy as an entire family we've been able to benefit.
Amazing, Ashley. I'm so happy that you found Purium and that you're able to help your son. I mean, there's nothing more tormenting than a mom who can't find solutions for our child, right? Like, it doesn't matter what we're dealing with. I've heard so many stories, and it's the hardest thing, especially when you gotta, go to the doctors can't figure things out or put our kids on medications or all these things, right? We're faced when we become mothers or fathers or, caregivers. We're faced with so many choices that, maybe for ourselves was different, but now we're having to make a choice for this other innocent human being. And we're responsible for that outcome. And so thank you so much for finding a solution and for trusting Purium. And I love your story. It's so incredible. All right, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Tia. Welcome. Oh, where'd you go, Tia?
Hi,
Oh, there you are.
am I here now?
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, I'll try to make mine real quick. So, I'm a stay-at-home mom for 6 years now, and I developed chronic back pain after my first, and it progressively got worse. I had high cholesterol. I was always overweight. I thought I was doing all the right things. It was pretty debilitating and hard on my mental health because a lot of days I couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do the things I wanted to with my kids. I was annoying to my husband because I was just constantly in pain, not feeling good. So fast forward this past year, I really enjoy being pregnant and giving birth. I did a surrogacy journey and I got in a little over my head when I didn't know how much medicine I was going to have to be on. I went through the whole IVF process. I had to take a lot of medicine and synthetic hormones and the shots, the pills, the suppositories. So I was pumping myself with all this synthetic hormones. I had some thyroid issues in the past. I had 3 very small nodules in my thyroid, and I didn't get them checked up over the years. I think that was 2021. So this past March, I decided I'm going to get them checked on. Well, they had grown substantially, and my endocrinologist was pretty alarmed, and they immediately wanted to biopsy, take them out, and something just didn't feel right. And so I was taking Purium products for probably a year and a half, but not religiously. It was really my friend was using them and selling them, and I was supporting her. And then finally, I dedicated myself to being strict with them. And I went from I counted macros. I was really high protein, but a lot of processed protein and a lot of not locally sourced meats. And I started to feel really gross about that. But that was all I knew. So my friend introduced Purium to me and detoxing. And I bought the ULT, and I think it took me 2 months to like finally say, okay, I'm doing it. And that was kind of when I got the call about the nodules being so alarming. And so a month in my ULT, I lost 20 pounds. It was like a pound a day was just falling off. I did go 75% raw vegan. And I didn't know what not feeling inflamed felt like until that I did this. And now I'm 3 months in, and I think I've lost a little over 30 pounds. I am like being active and more fun with my family. I can't wait to get my cholesterol checked again because it has to be low. And I've dealt with that for a lot of years now. And I always thought I was doing the right things, but I didn't know how good I could feel until I was introduced to Purium. And now I want to do surrogacy again. It was beautiful, but I don't know if I want to do that again to my body. So I see this as an opportunity to help women with infertility. And that is like a huge drive of, okay, I helped one family here, but I could how many more could I help by sharing my story and just getting Purium's word out there.
I love it. Beautiful story. Wow. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story because, all of our stories are so different. That's what I love about hearing each one of your stories is that we all have a completely different story, how we found Purium and why it was a solution for us. But so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you're absolutely right. With Purium, people have been able to conceive, multiple times. I've helped several women that had a hard time and had even done a lot of other treatments to try to conceive without any, results. And after doing a few months of the ULT, we're actually able to balance their hormones enough to conceive on their own, which is a miracle in and of itself. But something that is amazing to share with women that are just like wondering what else they can do and are done with trying all the different things that they've been prescribed, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. I really love your story. And let's see, La'a, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and, oops, I didn't unmute you. Where'd you go? Let me find you on my Brady Bunch screen here. Oh, there you are. Sorry, I lowered your hand instead of unmuting you. Welcome.
No worries. Oh, I think I lowered my hand, but aloha everybody from Hawaii. Just wanted to share 2 short stories. I've been on Purium for 1 year, and I've been in the business for maybe 3 months, but still learning, right? So grateful for these calls. I'm a only child of my mother, And for me, my why I started this journey was because I am healing from sinus infections, or yeah, being filled with sinus problems my whole life, and I don't even remember my dealing with that when I was a child. But I also am healing from anemia and obesity. And a short story I'd like to share, yeah, about yesterday. I had a long day, right? Our lives are so busy. So I started off waking up at 8, and then I had a music gig at 10, and it was only 45 minutes. But usually I feel like, okay, groggy and right. I'm like, yesterday I think I didn't take my beats, but I usually take my beats every day. And the difference that I felt was like, okay, I was like sluggish. So after that, then I had 2 events after my gig, and I usually am tired and I usually take a nap, but I was drinking my power shake and my beats, and I was energized throughout the whole day from 8 a.m. all the way till 8 p.m. I was alive and I was really energized. And so I'm really grateful for the superfoods, and I'm glad I can call my parents my accountability partners, because how we start off our day is with our super aminos and biomedic. And of course, yes, like Naeva said, if we run out of biomedic, then we have the ionic elements and alloy digest. So with my mom, she's healing from kidney renal failure, gout, high blood pressure. She finally committed to herself, and she actually, I can't remember what she says, but I know we have some moments, some special moments where she says, "Oh, I realized that the difference," and I'm like, "Yes, mom, keep going, keep believing in yourself," and I'm glad we're all on this journey together. So mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you so much for sharing your story. All the stories are so valuable. I'm so grateful that each and every one of you found Purium, or Purium found you, however that happened. Even for me, I'm so grateful that this came to me and somebody shared Purium with me. And so just hold on to that feeling of what it felt like and how you feel. And as you're sharing with other people, remember how you feel now, right? As people are like, trying to figure out if this is the right thing for them or whatever the doubts is that they might have. Remember these stories, and remember, each one of us had those, may have had those feelings at the beginning of like, well, I'm not sure. I've tried so many things. I don't know if this one's going to work. And really just diving in and trusting what was shared with us, right? Remember how it was shared with us, and go out there and create that ripple effect for our communities. And so before we hop off, we're at the top of our hour. Thank you so much for everybody that shared, everybody being here, part of our community. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'd love to invite you to like, follow, and share our different social media channels. If you're not already, go like our Facebook page. That's where the events for this Fierce Friday gets posted under our events tab. And then also you can invite people to those Facebook events. I don't know how all that works anymore, but you can invite people to it if you want to, or use the link and send it out in a text message to get them to come to this event weekly. And then of course, join our Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook. That's where the replays get posted with any links that I shared here today. And then follow us on our Instagram. Please use our hashtags and tag us if you share stories or share posts that relate to the Million Mom Movement and what we represent here. I love to repost you on our Instagram, and it goes over to Facebook if it's a post. Otherwise, if it's a reel, it just stays on Instagram. But use our hashtags. And then right now, our current hashtag is PHP opportunity. Is that correct? So use that one too as you're out there sharing what's going on in your life with this amazing opportunity. And then last but not least, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. These replays get posted weekly. And then you have access to almost 300 other replays that we've done over the past 4 years or so. So please join us next Friday for community action. We look forward to having you back here. And thank you so much for joining us here today. I appreciate having all of you on the line. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Aloha for now.